Hey students, so this is the second lecture I'm giving, and this is regarding Essay 2. I just finished reading all your outlines. Good job. Many of them were very strong. And I did get a lot of questions, and I know there's some confusion, as always, to be expected, regarding Essay 2. So for starters, I wanted to say that, just so you guys know, you are not required to write about Dweck in this paper, and you're not required to write about your personal experience if you don't feel comfortable. If you want to just focus on writing about the other Westmore in particular, that's fine. But if you do want to incorporate Dweck and your own experience, that's also totally acceptable. Most of you are doing a really good job. There's just some confusion with introductions and some paragraph issues. So I'm going to address those now. So I did post on the Canvas site under week 2 class notes on Essay 2. So I'm going to go to that really quick, and then I'm going to take you through that whole thing. Boom. Okay, so as far as introductions go, I know this is review, but it's, never hurts. Always making sure that you start your introduction with a hook or a touch and grabber. Now, this could be a question, a quote, a story, or a fact. You can start with a quote that is not from the book or from Dweck or from anywhere. It could be a Malcolm X quote. Whatever you want to use as a quote that obviously relates to what you're writing about. The thing about hooks is you want to start with a strong hook, because in your conclusion, you're going to want to go back to it so that your essay has a whole kind of like full circle, very complete feeling by the time the reader is done with the end of it. So definitely make sure you're doing that. Make sure that you introduce the text and summarize it. So this time your main text is the other Westmore. So you will, just like you did with the first essay, you're going to say in the other Westmore, and remember, book titles are italicized, they're not in quotation marks. By Westmore, the author explores, and this is where you're going to talk about the summary. And your summary should be around 4 sentences long. It should be in your own words. It shouldn't be copied from the internet or from the back of the book. And you want to tailor it so that it is specific to kind of what you're talking about in your essay. So, if you're talking about mindset and environment, you want to talk about those things, right? The mindset and the environment for Wes and more. You don't want to talk about basketball. You don't want to talk about football or anything random, right? You want it to be tailored to be specific to your essay. And then obviously at the end of your introduction goes your thesis statement, right? And the thesis statement should answer the prompt. And I also want to encourage you to write longer thesis statements, so longer than a sentence. Try to be more complex, add transitions, have a semicolon in there. I made a lot of comments on your thesis statements. That's pretty much what I focus on when I read your outlines. I focus on your thesis statement and your topic sentences to make sure that you're being clear and organized. You do need a works cited page, so make sure that you do that. I literally have done exactly what you're supposed to do, so you could copy and paste it from here. Literally nobody should be getting this incorrect. I did put it in alphabetical order as well, just in case you do decide to use Dweck. You don't have to, but that is there. And then I also put the other Westmore's citation in here. And as you notice, the big difference between the two is that one is a print copy, and I know this because there's no URL and there's no access date. So that is how the reader knows that, oh, this is a print copy. So for those of you that are using ebooks, you want to put the device before the date, right? So obviously this comes from the National Association of Independent Schools. You would want to put here which device you're using, Kindle. I don't know what the other ones are, but yeah, so you want to do that. The other new thing for this essay is I really want you to focus on making your paragraphs more complex. So I know we've already covered pi. This is a little different. Now we're doing something called quote sandwiches. So as you look at the thing that I put on the board that I posted up here, the big difference is the C, right? The context. So you still have your point, right? Your topic sentence. But you were going to add a little bit of context in between your point and your quote. So you never want to just throw a quote in a paragraph. You want to let the reader know in, a few sentences before why you're putting it in. What's the point? What Why is it there? So let's say that I am going to either quote or paraphrase a part where I talk about how, Wes gave up on Job Corps because he just couldn't take it anymore, right? He needed money, he needed it fast, so he went back to, working on the streets. Maybe before the quote, I would explain like how he got involved in Job Corps, like how well he was doing, how he was excited about it before he was disappointed. So again, I'm explaining and giving a little bit of background and context before I drop that quote on the reader. And then the other stuff is the same from Pi, just the information, right? The quote itself, making sure you've got the signal phrase before the quote, and then only the page number in the brackets. I know in APA format, if you're taking science or psych or history, you put the date. You don't need to do that with MLA. It's literally just the page number. There is times when you will do different stuff, but I will always give you a little bit heads up before that. And then always making sure the bulk of your essay is going to be analysis, always, right? So like 20% of your essay is quotes, and the rest of your essay is going to be argument and analysis, critical thinking, okay? One more thing too about topic sentences. I noticed a lot of topic sentences were facts or a plot summary. You never want to state a fact as a topic sentence, right? Because that's not an argument. It's just stating the obvious. So for example, I don't want to say something like, Moore ended up, becoming a Rhodes Scholar and a published author while Wes was a prisoner. That's a fact. Like, we know that. But if I tell you why the circumstances were different, then I turn it into an argument. So I could say something like, due to mindset, Moore ended up persevering through his struggles while Wes gave in to them. Now I've set up something that someone could disagree with me on, and I can cite things to prove that. So just making sure that you have a cause effect in your topic sentence. Usually you need to have a comma. And it's usually like because of this, or since this, that. So always making sure you have a cause effect with a comma in between. And then to make this even more illustrated, I not only put the template up here, but if you look in your week 1 readings, chapter 9 is on paragraphs, and I'm going to go to that. It's literally a paragraph, a Pi paragraph. So this is, if you look at this as kind of a guide and kind of mimic it, obviously not exactly, but this is all you need to kind of know. Like, you need to have a topic sentence. And then you'll see this writer did provide a little bit of context before they get to the quote itself, right? In this case, it's just a tiny little part of the text. And then they provide some more information, and then some more, right? And then at the very bottom is quite a lot of analysis. So look at this as a guide for yourself when you're writing your paragraphs, just to make sure that you're fulfilling the paragraph structure. All right, so that's basically it. If you guys have any questions or any concerns, please feel free to email me. I'll get back to you as soon as I can, probably even before 24 hours. So, and I'm going to try to get those essay ones back to you by Monday. So expect those to get graded by then. All right, well, I hope you guys have a great rest of your weekend and a good evening, and I'll talk to you guys soon.